on in. It is Tuesday, December the 17th. We know a week today, Christmas Eve. Here's what we're working on for you today, though. Obviously, what's going on in Ottawa, that's front and center. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau faces renewed calls from members of his own party to resign after a very eventful Monday.
Canada Post is set to start operations again today, but will not be accepting new mail until day after tomorrow.
And we'll take a look at the trailer for Mufasa, the Lion King.
I'll tell you a story.
Okay, good. He came back.
Yeah.
I just didn't know yesterday, his first day. Maybe he didn't want to come back.
Could you say, okay,
back for day two.
One day in a row's enough. I put in a good effort. We'll do one day and see what happens. No, I made it for 2 days in a row.
All right, perfect,
Okay.
buddy.
We'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll look at it that way. Back at it Tuesday, December 17th. Now, you're right. We're getting closer all the time, Tim. Yeah, it's just around the corner. And today we're looking at temperatures going the wrong way. You know, we got to 10 degrees last night. The temperature spiked up at midnight. We got to 10 degrees after it's sitting around 6 or 7 throughout the day. But today, we're going to dip to 3 degrees by later on. The cold front going through, shifting around the winds. It is fairly windy already here this morning, but our temperature is mild. We're sitting at 6 degrees right now. A little bit of sun, a little bit, but we'll see a chance of a shower for the day. Talk about it coming up, looking at traffic. There's not a lot going on. 403 Waterdown Road, that's our camera. That looks okay right now, so no problems right there. To our MTO traffic cameras, give you just a quick overview. QEW at Grays Road, Stony Creek, nothing there. Base of the Skyway, so Toronto-bound lanes away from us, still light and nothing here at east of 4th, going Burlington to Oakville, Mississauga, all the way through and around. We're doing fine. So we'll look at weather and traffic, of course, coming up in a few minutes. Right now, the news.
Okay, let's go to the nation's capital because Ottawa is still reeling after a very turbulent day on Monday. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau showing no signs of stepping down as Canada's leader. Let's bring in Simone Gavros, joins us live in studio with more on the events that took place yesterday and last night.
Yeah, Tim, it was a chaotic day on Parliament Hill yesterday with that sudden resignation of Chrystia Freeland just hours before the fiscal update. Now, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has not specifically addressed these renewed calls for him to step down, but he spoke to some supporters at a Liberal Party fundraiser in Quebec last night.
It's obviously been an eventful day, and it has not been an easy day. But I wanted to come here tonight and speak with you, dedicated, devoted members of the Liberal Party, because you, not me or any other politician, are the beating heart of this movement.
Now, at the end of those remarks, he added that it's been the absolute privilege of his life to serve as Canada's Prime Minister. Now, Liberal MPs met Monday night before these remarks, but many would not say whether the Prime Minister will remain as leader or if he has their support. Now, earlier Monday night, Trudeau was in attendance at Public Safety Minister Dominic LeBlanc as he was sworn in as the new Finance Minister. LeBlanc says affordability and the threat of tariffs from the United States will be his priorities in this new role. He will temporarily retain his duties as Public Safety and Intergovernmental Affairs Minister during this transition. LeBlanc will also lead the Canada-U.S. Cabinet Committee, which formerly Chrystia Freeland was in that role.
Huge number of Canadians is a very significant issue, and they expect their government to be focused on affordability issues. That was my conversation with the Prime Minister. That'll obviously be a huge focus in my work as the Minister of Finance. We need to also be extremely focused on the challenges that the incoming American administration will pose with respect to the potential imposition of tariffs.
Now, the events yesterday come on the heels of members of Parliament preparing for their holiday break later today. They're going to resume on January 27th after Trump's inauguration. Later today, Trudeau is set to make some remarks at the National Caucus holiday party, according to his itinerary. Annette, back over to you.
Okay, thanks very much. And reactions are pouring in around the world following Freeland's resignation, citing differences with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on how to address President Donald Trump's incoming tariff threats. And Trump himself addressed the chaos in another taunting post on his social media platform last night. So he posted, and I quote, The great state of Canada is stunned as the finance minister resigns or was fired from her position by Governor Justin Trudeau. Her behavior, he says, was totally toxic and not at all conducive to making deals which are good for the very unhappy citizens of Canada.
Okay, let's talk about her resignation a little bit more because it happened on the day that she was supposed to deliver the fall economic statement in a resignation letter posted on X just after we went off the air yesterday. Freeland says Trudeau offered her a different cabinet position on Friday, and that shows a lack of confidence in her as a minister. She also says they've been at odds about the best path forward for Canada for weeks now. Prime Minister is now facing calls to step down from both the opposition and within his own party.
Justin Trudeau and the Liberals are focused on themselves. They're fighting themselves instead of fighting for Canadians. For that reason, today I'm calling on Justin Trudeau to resign. He has to go.
The finance minister is resigning in the middle of an economic crisis, and a fifth of his Liberal caucus has lost confidence in him. Justin Trudeau has lost control, and yet he clings to power.
NDP leader Jagmeet Singh would not say if he'd vote non-confidence in the government. Meanwhile, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says he wants to see an election before American President-elect Donald Trump takes office January 20th.
The Liberal MP for Hamilton East Stony Creek, Chad Collins, also renewed his call for the Prime Minister to step down.
I can say we're not united. There's still a number of our members who feel we need a change in leadership. I'm one of those. We fear what a Make Canada Great Again agenda from Mr. Poilievre means to our constituents. And I think the only path forward for us is to choose a new leader and present a new plan to Canadians with a different vision.
Collins and 23 other Liberal MPs signed a letter asking the Prime Minister to step down. That was in October. Now, provincial and territorial leaders met yesterday in Toronto. They were meeting for the meeting of the premiers. The conference is to try to find solutions to Donald Trump's threat of 25% tariffs on Canadian goods. But news of Chrystia Freeland's sudden resignation, of course, dominated the conversation all day. Ontario Premier Doug Ford, who chaired the meeting, says they're all concerned.
As a country, we have to project strength, unity, and you said the word, I didn't, but I'll repeat it. It's chaos right now up in Ottawa, and it's time that what we do every single day, the premiers, we step up and we'll make sure that we tell the world that there is stability here.
Premiers also agreed to focus on security along the Canada-U.S. border and to boost Canada's financial contribution to NATO. There was no mention of retaliatory tariffs like cutting off energy exports, as Ford had previously suggested. Now, in presenting the federal government's fall economic statement itself, House Leader Karina Gould announced Canada has a $61.9 billion deficit. That's $20 billion more than what the government had pledged earlier this year.
For context, outside of this government, there is no government in the history of Canada that has ever run a $62 billion deficit. Not even in the 90s when the Wall Street Journal said that we were a third world basket case. Not even during the massive global economic crisis did the deficit come anywhere close to that.
Now, in the 279-page document, the term tariff is mentioned 20 times, only once referring to the looming 25% tariff that U.S. President-elect Donald Trump plans to impose.
Okay, let's get away from Ottawa. Let's get into sports now. And 26 games into the Raptors season, things have kind of gone like we thought. A lot more losses than wins. There have been things to cheer about, though, and many of their losses have been competitive, and you can chalk another one up with the Bulls in town last night.
Raptors down by 3. RJ splits a double, and he throws it down. Sanders happy.
Yeah, the big guy pretty impressed with RJ Barrett. Why not? He's having a great season. Big throwdown early in the second. He's coming off a triple-double in a loss to Miami last Thursday and brought the goods once again with Scotty Barnes MIA with that ankle injury. RJ would drop 32 points as the Raps would fall behind Chicago by as many as 16 in the second half, but they would claw their way back thanks to Grady Dick, who hit a couple of big threes. One right there. He had 27 points. It just wasn't enough as the Raptors lose another tight one. 122-121 the final. Raptors, they host Brooklyn on Thursday.
Mikula at the point. Moved in for Bennett to the slot for Hagee. He scores! Carter for Hagee with a stinger.
Yeah, on the ice, it was Waterdown's Carter Verhaeghe who lifted his Florida Panthers over the Oilers in Edmonton last night in a rematch of their epic Stanley Cup final that went the distance to 7 games. His 9th goal of the season with just under 7 minutes to go. That broke a 5-5 tie, and then Sergei Bobrovsky, oh, what a save in the final minutes. As Florida, they end up taking the rematch 6-5. There's that save right there. Beautiful. All right, let's stay with locals doing some great things. Move to the Ticats because after they hired Burlington's Ted Govea as their new general manager a couple weeks ago, Hamiltonian Brent Monson has been added as defensive coordinator. Monson, he started coaching in Hamilton, leading the Steel City Ironmen. He also coached for Bishop Tonus Catholic Secondary School. But from there, the 39-year-old served a positional coach for the Stampeders in Calgary until he became their defensive coordinator in 2019, serving in that role until this year. Monson will hope to shore up the Ticats defense. They gave up the most points in the league last season and failed to make the playoffs.
Limiting the touchdowns of Minnesota. This will be key again tonight.
Play action from Darnold. End zone. Touchdown Jefferson.
We had a couple of Monday Night Football games last night. Starting in Minnesota, the Vikings proving that they are a very good football team, beating their divisional rivals in the Chicago Bears. The Vikings dominated this one, taking it 30-12 for a 7th straight win, and they pull in to a tie atop the NFC North with Detroit at 12-1, despite the Lions having the tiebreaker. But the two of them will be facing off in the final game of the season in 3 weeks. The other game in Vegas.
Wake up, Tim, wake up.
Sorry, it's a bit of a snooze fest. I guess for Falcon fans, all they care about is a win against the awful Raiders. Kirk Cousins tossed his first TD pass in 5 weeks, just enough to hold off the Raiders. 15-9 was the final. Raiders are 12-2. Falcons 7-7 keep their playoff hopes alive as they face another bad team Sunday in the 12-loss New York Giants.
12 minutes after 6 o'clock, 17th of December. It's a Tuesday morning. First of all, traffic, and then we'll get to the forecast for the day today. And it's going to be an interesting day today. Looking at traffic, nothing there. Got a bit of shake on the camera. The wind is fairly strong this morning. It's dipping down a little bit right now, but it's still fairly strong. As you can see, there's nothing happening right there. To our MTO traffic cameras, St. Catharines, first of all, here's the QEW 405. Doing fine there. Nothing to see. Same with Grays Road. Still looks good. No problems. 403 Junction, Toronto bound toward Brand Street, heading away from us. Now, Toronto bound towards us, east of Royal Windsor at the Ford plant. Same here at Cooksville Creek, and as you can see, nothing happening in traffic this morning. All right, what's happening is going to be with the weather today. Temperature is fallen another degree. We were 6 last hour. We were 10 degrees at midnight. The warm front went through. That's what triggered off the rain late in the day yesterday. Now the cold front, winds are shifting around. That temperature is going to fall. We're sitting at 5 right now. The winds still fairly strong, west-southwest 27. And we do now have a mainly cloudy sky. So for school today, we're going to be around 3 degrees. Later on today, we'll see a little bit of sun, but there's that slim chance of a shower. But look at those winds. They're going to shift around to the west, and they'll become chilly, 40 gusting to 60 later on today. So what's happened? We had that rain yesterday. This is all pushing off towards the east now. So the cold front has gone through. The winds are going to change around. We could see, as I said, a little bit of sun for the day, but there's that chance of showers. There's the problem for tomorrow. That low pressure system going by us, some areas tomorrow could get a couple of centimeters of snow, particularly Halton Peel into Toronto. But today, temperatures sinking to these values by later on. 3, 4, and 5. It'll sit around 0 for Kitchener and Guelph. But there's that chance of some showers throughout the day today. That will be about a 30% chance. Tonight, we're looking at temperatures a little chillier into the minus column, -1, 2, and 3, -4, Guelph and Kitchener. Skies will start to become a little cloudier throughout the overnight. And then tomorrow, there's that 2 centimeters of snow, particularly for Halton Peel, Toronto. The rest of us, just some flurries, but a fairly cloudy day. And yes, the temperatures are going to get a lot cooler. So temperature out the door this morning, 5 degrees. So we are a mild start to the day. It is mostly cloudy, and it's fairly windy as well. And we'll look long range coming up. Annette, Tim.
All right, thanks, Brian. Off and running on this December the 17th. We'll check in with Emily on what's going on in Chit Chat on this Tuesday. Also, so mail will start moving again this morning, but Canada Post warns it's going to take some time to clear the backlog of all the packages in a month-long strike. Morning, Em.
Morning.
Hello.
What you got today?
Well, we are going to be talking about the brand new trailer for Mufasa, the Lion King.
When does that come out?
20th.
Oh, okay. Oh, so Friday then?
Soon.
Okay.
Yeah, Friday.
Yeah.
Holy cow, I can't believe it's already the 20th. It looks really good, but I feel like I'm going to need a lot of Kleenexes.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what happens?
Because I do know what happens.
Do know what happens.
Yeah.
But it's still tragic while it's happening. Okay. Apple TV dropping a surprise holiday edition of Carpool Karaoke, and it looks so good. And later on this morning, a documentary about the alleged killer of the United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson, is reportedly already in the works.
Not surprised at that.
Yeah, they didn't wait long at all.
Okay, we'll see you at that big red couch in a little bit.
I'll be there.
Lots to get to in business news, including our dollar, because following the fall economic statement and Freeland's resignation yesterday, Canadian dollar down 20 basis points, sitting just 70 cents US, down from, it was 75 cents just in September. Gold also down over 16 bucks, 26.53.50. Crude oil down 46 cents, sitting at 70.25 a barrel. Off to Europe we go. Hey, Europe. Markets are down in London, but up in Frankfurt and Paris.
In Asia today, the markets were down in Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Shanghai. North American markets, the TSX lost 127 points yesterday. The Dow was down 110, but the Nasdaq was up almost 250 points.
Well, good morning. Have you missed going to the mailbox? I know, me too. It was like what I did after work. The first thing I would do. Well, we can do that again today because Canada Post, they do say it will not receive or pick up new products until Thursday, despite operations resuming today. Crown Corporation says it will take more time to clear the backlog of packages and letters that were paused when the postal workers' strike started. It was over a month ago. It was November 15th. And it says new international mail will start to be accepted on December 23rd, adding that service guarantees will be suspended as Canada Post just kind of ramps up their operations. Canadian Union of Postal has said the federal government's decision to get involved in the labor dispute tramples on workers' rights to bargain and strike.
Home sales across the country were up 2.8% last month from October. The Canadian Real Estate Association says sales have climbed more than 18% since May. That was just before the first interest rate cut in June. Demand has pushed listings up almost 9% from a year ago, and it's expected that the most recent half-point mortgage rate drop could fuel even larger sales numbers for this month.
Okay, meantime, the Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation says the annual pace of housing starts, that has risen as well. Housing starts, they were up 8% in the month of November compared to October. The National Housing Agency says the seasonally adjusted annual rate of housing starts, it came in at 262,000 units, or just even over that last month. That is up from over 242,000 in October. The increase was reported for urban and rural builds.
Bank of Canada Governor Tiff Macklem says the central bank is getting ready for a future with more uncertainty. Speaking to the Greater Vancouver Board of Trade, Macklem says the Bank of Canada is bracing for structural changes right around the world, including demographic shifts and technological changes. He says the bank is working to learn how the Canadian economy reacted to the pandemic when preparing these new policies.
Speaking of preparing, Santa and the elves, they're doing that because we are a week away from Christmas Eve. So we're keeping a close eye on that 7-day forecast. Brian has it for you right after this.
624, good morning. How's traffic on this Tuesday? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let's have a look. QEW Highway 406, nothing to see there. Toronto-bound lanes heading away from us on that shot. Same here, south end of the Burlington Skyway, but what a difference from the last time we checked it. Getting pretty busy, at least it's still rolling. Nothing here still east of 4th. We'll flip ahead to, oh, well, there we are. And the 403 at Dundas, no problems at all. Toronto-bound lanes heading away from us, heading up to Burnham Thorpe in the distance. Okay, so nothing on the roads. Let's check what we have at the moment. Our temperature in Hamilton is 5. We were 6 last hour. We were 10 at midnight. So the temperatures really come down. 6 Grimsby, Mississauga, 7 for Toronto. Now, seasonals this time of year are 0 for the daytime high. So we got to 10 last night, -7 for the overnight low, and those are our sun times and seasonal and records for today. A little bit of sun, but there is that chance of a shower for the day today. But the temperature is going to continue to fall. We could be 3 by the first bell this morning. Chance of a shower, and 3 for after school as well. I mean, there's a chance of a little bit of sunshine, but there's that also chance of a shower. It's about a 30% chance of a shower. I want to do a tip of the hat. Thanks very much to Derek Stevens, who sent this particular shot in. That's a shot from his office on the 17th floor of the CIBC building overlooking Gore Park. That's a nice shot. Thank you, Derek, for sending that in. Use that for our 7-day forecast. So 3 today. That's where the temperature is going to fall. Then -1 overnight tonight. We'll get some clouds. Tomorrow, +1, so temperature noticeably getting cooler with flurries. -1 only on Thursday. Friday again, -1 with flurries. And then look what happens on Saturday as we get into the first day of winter. High of only -8 with an overnight of -12. That's your forecast. Annette, Tim.
Okay.
Oh, man. All right. This is kind of weird. An ongoing research study in Virginia, they're putting lab rats into tiny cars.
This has been going on for years. A study at the University of Richmond suggests that not only can rats drive, but they actually prefer it to walking.
Oh, yeah?
So scientists use treats like Fruit Loops as incentives to motivate these tiny test subjects to pilot homemade ratmobiles. The rats control the cars by pressing a lever, similar to a gas pedal, to reach toward the Fruit Loop. And over time, they actually learn to navigate. So why are researchers studying this?
Why are they studying this, Annette?
Well, this is to help develop mental health strategies for people. They're studying coping skills and behavioral interaction. And it's fun. It's a fun way to get science.
Sure.
To get us talking about science.
The best line is they prefer to drive over walk.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Fruit Loops. Who doesn't like a dry Fruit Loop?
Oh, I love dry. I don't like them with milk at all.
Yeah.
I still eat them sometimes as snacks.
Are they always in the house, Fruit Loops?
Not always in the house, but if they're on sale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun. I wonder if the traffic cameras for the rats.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if they
Little
work.
rats.
Yeah,
They're
what if they work, eh, Brian? Goodness. Get MTO on those rat cameras. All right, that's pretty radical. 1/2 hour down. Sorry. It was just there. I had to use it.
Shut your mouth.